Okay, the Congress leaders have paid their tributes, and the mortal remains of Dr. Manmohan Singh was at the AICC headquarters for almost an hour. What we are now seeing is that his mortal remains are being taken out of the Congress headquarters onward to its final journey to Nigam Bodh Ghat, where those last rites with full state honours will take place at around 11:45 a.m. In attendance is likely to be the Prime Minister, the President and the Vice President of India. Paying tributes was the Congress President, then the Gandhi family, and all those who were a part of the cabinet and the party workers as well. Let me go across to my colleague Ananya, who's just standing by. Ananya, if you could just take us to what you're seeing right behind you.
Well, you can see the mortal remains of Dr. Manmohan Singh being taken away from the AICC headquarters, where the Congress leaders and the general public paid tribute. Right behind the cavalcade were Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Mallikarjun Kharge, D.K. Shivkumar and various other tall leaders and colleagues of Dr. Manmohan Singh, a persona in its own name that needs no introduction. Dr. Manmohan Singh remained the Prime Minister of the country for over 10 years. The final journey begins from the AICC headquarters. He will now be taken to the Nigam Bodh Ghat, where his last rites and the final journey towards heaven would actually begin. Dr. Singh, not only a politician, not only a congressman, but one of the finest economists that India could have ever witnessed, will be going on his final journey from here at the AICC headquarters straight to the Nigam Bodh Ghat with full state funeral rites.
It must be a real tough moment, I would want to say, because I can see Sonia Gandhi very much a part of that, large number of party leaders who were there as the mortal remains are being taken out. It was a combination which clicked for 10 years, and she said this in a statement yesterday also, Ananya, that this is a personal loss to me. Did you get that sense, possibly if you spoke to party workers and leaders around you, that, I can see the Telangana Chief Minister, the Himachal Chief Minister, all of them are very much there. Did you get that sense from the workers that, everyone really wanted to be there at the Congress headquarters to pay the rich tribute to the man who was the Prime Minister?
Well, definitely a Prime Minister for over 10 years, and every party worker, the whole, if I sum it in a very informal way, the whole Congress family seems very disheartened, saddened because of the loss of one of their tallest and most important members, one of the key family members of the Congress family, going away. And that is something, that echoes in the heart of the nation itself, because he was not only just a congressman, just a politician, but also one of the finest human beings one could ever meet. And definitely, everybody wants to pay last message to the last blessings, or the last, in fact, tribute to Dr. Manmohan Singh. The journey from here on towards the Nigam Bodh Ghat has already begun. He will be now taken to the Nigam Bodh Ghat, where, our colleague Siddhant Mishra is stationed, and there his last rites would be performed with state funeral and full, state funeral rites.
I'll keep coming back to you as the journey moves out of the Congress headquarters. He was a congressman after all. 1991, when he became the finance minister under P.V. Narasimha Rao's prime ministership, is when he formally joined the Congress party as well. We also have Siddhant at the Nigam Bodh Ghat. I'm going to go across to him in a bit, because we also have two guests this morning who's joining us. Mr. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, Suhel Seth, brand guru and columnist, also joining me. Good morning to both of you. Suhel, to you first. Brand Manmohan. Let's talk a bit about that. What's the legacy he leaves behind? What's the brand he leaves behind?
I think he leaves a brand, principally, Pallavi, of decency, dignity, and an avowed love for the nation. Everyone, and you rightly said it, everyone talks about what a great economist he was and what he did for India, for the world of finance. But I think we need to take the conversation further and to see how he was such an inspiring human being. You've seen from all the commentary on television and in print since his passing. And that just shows that history has been kind to him. In fact, history has done justice to him, because he touched not only the lives of Indians here, but he changed the landscape for India as a nation, as a global economic power. And he did it with grace. He did it without malice. There was no hate, there was no bile, there was no derision in the way he spoke, in the way he conducted himself. That, to my mind, is his ultimate legacy. That you can be in politics without actually being, to my mind, cruel or dastardly or in some manner vicious. And that is why he will remain special. That is why I, as an Indian, am delighted he was my prime minister. I'm thrilled that he gave to this country what he did, because he did it without any malice. He did it with full integrity and an extreme sense of devotion, coupled with a rare sense of duty.
Also, Mr. Rajagopalan, I'll just come back to you, Suhel, in a bit. Mr. Rajagopalan, you know, I mean, being called weak and being called someone who's always silent, but it's all very well to keep on blaming the BJP, but they were his political opponents. Do you think there were moments when you've tracked him, his own party would often let him down?
Definitely, Pallavi. As you know, I covered Congress from 1977. I have one or two instances come to my mind. Apart from the tearing out of the ordinance, in 2012, around February or March, I learned that Madam Sonia Gandhi was keen to promote Mr. Manmohan Singh as President of India and Dr. Pranab Mukherjee as Prime Minister of India, which is confirmed by Mr. Manishankar Ayer in an interview by Manishankar Ayer to PTI. So those days were all dished by, because 2 or 3 senior politicians went and told Madam Gandhi not to promote Dr. Manmohan Singh because Pranab Mukherjee will be more, against the Gandhi family like that. So this is also mentioned in Pranab Mukherjee's memoirs, and her daughter's memoirs. Everything are also mentioned. My understanding of the Congress is Manmohan Singh was not treated well by Congress leaders then. There were animosity, there were a lot of pickerings, and as Manishankar said, if we change the leadership of Dr. Manmohan Singh, Congress would have returned to power third time in 2014, like that. So things are not that good, especially economists. 3 lawyers, Jairam Ramesh used to say that, in the National Advisory Council, 2 Harvard, 2 made Congress backward, like that. He also coined some slogans. He sent me a text also, those things with the emotional text. So Jairam Ramesh also understood that the Congress was going out of power, and the Gandhi would have rested the Congress, but better the corruptions, etc. Now we are not going to deal with that thing, because it's a tearful, emotional farewell to Dr. Manmohan Singh, a tall leader, and he treated very well. One incident come to my mind, Pallavi, which I would like to record. On Andhra Pradesh Governor, Mr. E.S.L. Narasimhan, met Mr. Dr. Manmohan Singh when Governor Conference was on. At that time, 26/11 happened. They wanted to change the Director of Intelligence Bureau, P.C. Haldar. But E.S.L. Narasimhan went and told Prime Minister it will demoralize the entire intelligence agency, don't do that. Manmohan Singh stuck to that. He did not obey, or he carry forward by P. Chidambaram in saying that he must be changed in Mr. Haldar Vagada. But bureaucracy was fully with Dr. Manmohan Singh. That is why he could shine. Otherwise, he would have been dumped by bureaucracy also. Second, on coal scam, Harish Gupta, this IAS officer who was Secretary Coal, was also to be arrested. But Dr. Manmohan Singh tried to plead for the case. So things were all that good from the bureaucracy. But Manmohan Singh was led down by Congress, by indirectly, I should say, Gandhi family.
I'm just going to come back to you, Mr. Rajagopalan, and also Suhel. Going to go across to my colleague on the ground, Siddhant. Siddhant, well, the cavalcade has left the AICC headquarters. 11:45 is what I'm being told. Any idea when the other VVIPs or dignitaries are going to start coming in? And if you can just show us what are the arrangements around you.
Well, that's right, Pallavi. The dignitaries have already started arriving at Nigam Bodh Ghat. In fact, there is a special invitation card that have been given to those who are allowed inside, or rather access card, those who are allowed inside Nigam Bodh Ghat at the time of the final rites. And in fact, those dignitaries, the relatives of Dr. Manmohan Singh, the family, they all are entering through this gate, and the passes need to be shown to the cops. And once cops will verify those passes, those access cards, then only the people are being allowed inside the Nigam Bodh Ghat. Now, Pallavi, you see on both sides, the cadets have been lined up. Heavy police deployment at Nigam Bodh Ghat. Everyone is not allowed inside the restricted area. Only those who are carrying access cards that have been given, that have been provided to them by the government, only they are allowed inside the ghat during the final rites. Given there is going to be the presence of many special protectees, VVIPs, Prime Minister Modi, President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Dhankar, Chief of all three forces, Home Secretary, Defense Secretary, Raksha Mantri. So there's going to be VIP movement here, and the entire area has been cordoned off. Only selected people, very few people have been given the access card, and the list of that have been shared with the government by the family. Only those people will be allowed inside the Nigam Bodh Ghat. So people have already started coming to Nigam Bodh Ghat. In fact, this is the entry gate for the relatives and families. There is a separate gate for VIPs, as you rightly said. The procession has already commenced from the AICC headquarters, and maybe by 10:50 or maximum 11 a.m. The mortal remains will reach Nigam Bodh Ghat. After which it will start from the Home Secretary, and after which the heads of three forces, Defense Secretary, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh, Prime Minister Modi, Vice President Dhankar, and President Draupadi Murmu all will pay homage to Dr. Manmohan Singh. And at around 11:45, Pallavi, the mortal remains will be taken for the religious rites. So maybe by 12. We could expect the last rites of Dr. Manmohan Singh to commence. Right now, there's heavy police deployment. Even Delhi Police Commissioner himself is on ground taking stock of the situation. The paramilitary forces have been pressed in. I could also see the extra battalions of paramilitary forces. NSG teams are also here on the ground, and in fact we could expect traffic disruption also in the central Delhi area, given there's going to be a lot of VIP movement. But administration, the authorities, all are making sure that everything goes smoothly, and this is the reason that only very few people, the selected people, are only allowed inside the Nigam Bodh Ghat. Back to you.
Siddhant, I'm just going to come back to you again. So, let me just go back to you. We keep on talking about the Indo-US nuclear deal, but what about his contribution as far as the diplomatic circle is concerned? Because he insisted that not just South Asia, but India should not be looked upon as a third world or developing country.
In fact, as I mentioned, it would be inappropriate and fairly selfish if we were just confine the analysis of his contribution to the economy. I believe he played a stellar role in uniting the world to accept India for what India was and what India is. If you see the outpouring of grief post his passing from global leaders, that's evidence of the fact how he was regarded across the world. If you remember, when President Obama came to India, he lauded his sagacity and the advice that he sought from Dr. Manmohan Singh. So, silence does not mean inability. Only in our country, when you say, oh, he's silent, means, he's dumb or he's unintelligent. Sometimes you have to let your deeds speak for themselves. And in that sense, he was voluble. He never uttered words that were not carefully calibrated or thought of. It wasn't as if he was an orator par excellence, and he never pretended to be. He was a man who was doing his job, and he did it well. He did it with integrity, and he did it purposefully. And for that alone, we should be grateful. Because you don't get politicians like that, Pallavi. You get politicians who are promising you the earth and deliver not even a handful of mud. You get politicians who imbibe hate who spread canards, who create divisiveness when none is required. You have people, including in his party, who optically will tear up ordinances, will show themselves to be bigger than they are. You know, at one stage, I remember I used the phrase in a program on one of your sister channels on CNBC, saying that it's ironic that Dr. Manmohan Singh is in office but not in power, Sonia Gandhi is in power but not in office. And I didn't mean it facetiously, because Dr. Manmohan Singh didn't want power. He wanted the ability and the freedom to do what he was set out to do, which he did with great aplomb. And that's what we should be celebrating. That's his real tribute. That's his real contribution. And that was his real life. He was a doer. He wasn't a talker. He was one who was dogged in his approach. Why do you think the Indo-US nuclear deal happened? When almost all of Parliament was against it. But Dr. Manmohan Singh pushed it through. This morning, in one of the papers, Montek Singh Ahluwalia has written that he had the courage of conviction and he was a great consensus builder. That's what he was. That's who he is. And that's how he will be etched in our memories forever.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I remember an Indo-US nuclear deal, he had said that so be it. Mr. Rajagopalan, you say you've been tracking him since 1977. In that 10 years that he was in power, did you see a change in his persona from being gawky and trying to avoid us in the media to being very comfortable in taking the questions? I remember at one press conference, he did tell us, I meet you people all the time and at least I'm holding press conferences.
No, he never pretended. You know, he was as he was in 1977, and as a prime minister he was. Whenever I met him, he used to be very, very, very jovial. Also, he cracks a lot of jokes, you know, in front of others. When I asked him, "You are going to be promoted as president," he laughed at and said, "My power, I know my power, I know my height." So therefore, things are on the office of profit. When Sonia Gandhi madam resigned, it was me first informed to Mr. T.K. Nair and also to the then Intelligence Bureau Chief E.S.L. Narasimhan. So there were occasions where I could meet him very often, and M.K. Narayanan, who was his national security advisor, was also helping him on Sri Lanka matters. But one thing, Pallavi, I would like to record very, very, emotional way. Today, Dr. Manmohan Singh is given itna importance by the Congress, बट पीवी नरसिम्हा राव को सीताराम केसरी को कुछ नहीं किया. ये गलत बात है. मुझे लगता है पीवी नरसिम्हा राव also deserved this type of, he was shunted out, he was thrown out because year ending. Third, very interesting, my association as a political guru for me is Arun Jaitley. Today Arun Jaitley's memory day, today Dr. Manmohan Singh's memory day. Somewhere in the world, in the heaven, they will be meeting and exchanging notes, because Arun Jaitley and Dr. Manmohan Singh relationship is totally different. I know Arun Jaitley used to praise Dr. Manmohan Singh. There were occasions when government of India was wanting to have more security for the Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi. It was Dr. Manmohan Singh who approved that, not by the Sonia Gandhis or Gandhi family. So therefore, there was a relation between opposition and the ruling party. Arun Jaitley played a crucial role. Today, both of them having the Memorial Day.
And you're right, Mr. Rajagopalan. I remember I began kind of my political reporting after the demise of P.V. Narasimha Rao, and this was certainly something which stuck to our memory. His mortal remains were actually not taken inside the AICC as we are seeing it happen today. So
सुहेल सेठ में गुस्सा आ जाएगा, लेकिन मैं सुहेल सेठ को मैं ठंडा करूंगा.
Suhel, let's talk a lot about, because I remember I was watching the statement which was released by Sonia Gandhi yesterday. She talks about it as a personal loss. Do you think the fact that she pitched for him, come what may, backed him, and she was aware, she was very astute and she was aware of the conniving within the Congress party, the palace intrigue, so to say. But the fact that firm backing of Dr. Manmohan Singh by Sonia Gandhi ensured that there was political stability at least from 2004 to 2014?
Absolutely. Sonia Gandhi never trusted Pranab Mukherjee. Her husband never trusted Pranab Mukherjee. And Shurmishra Mukherjee, Pranab's daughter, has said so in various of her tweets and in the publication of his diary notes. So let's be clear. The Gandhis do not want an alternate power center. They want to be the controllers of the levers of power. It's even there today. Mr. Kharge is president of the Congress, but no one cares. No one. Remember one thing, the Gandhis treat the Congress, and for whatever reason, it is their prerogative, they treat the Congress as their own preserve, as their fiefdom. And Congress men and women are willing to succumb to that because they have no choice.
I'm just going to, sorry to interrupt you here, Suhel. I'm just going to go across to my colleague Siddhant Mishra because he's speaking to some of the envoys who also have turned up at this last rites of.
Show our respect and remarkable, one of the leaders of Indians in politicians and in economists.
Okay.
His journey with Palestine, with Palestinian cause is very long.
Okay.
President Arafat, the PLO leaders, he's met former Prime Minister in 1992 on his visit to Delhi when he's finance minister.
Okay.
Then President Abbas, when he's elected after Arafat passed away in 2005, he's paid a first state.
Yeah, carry on. Sir, let me complete. Yes,
He's paid the state visit to India and meeting for the first time with former Prime Minister in 2005. Then President Abbas is also met in 2008 and in 2010.
So today you are carrying the special condolence
Yes,
message.
we have two condolence messages
Okay.
from the President of Palestine. One is the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, and the government of India. Second is the Congress presidents from also the President Abbas to show our respectful and to show our respect to his rule and contribution to the Palestinian cause and his role to enhancing the multilateral relation between Palestinians, PLO and Palestinians Authority after peace process and the Indian government and Indian people.
Thank you so much, sir. So we were speaking to Palestinian envoy, and he is here to pay final tributes to former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. In fact, he was speaking about the contribution of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh to the foreign policy of India. Also, how during his time the relations of India with PLO were strengthened, and perhaps this is the reason that today he's carrying the personal message from the Prime Minister of Palestine, Mohammed Abbas, personal condolence message for the family of Dr. Manmohan Singh and also for Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Yes.
Back
I
to
mean,
you.
how often do you see such foreign dignitaries turning up for the last rites of any leader for that matter and a former prime minister? In fact, I'm just giving these pictures of the cavalcade moving towards Nigambodh Ghat. On that cavalcade, of course, is Rahul Gandhi. So here I was talking to you about the equation between Sonia Gandhi and Dr. Manmohan Singh. Let's talk also about Rahul Gandhi. That moment when he tore up that ordinance, that was not a very graceful moment. But do you think after that, Rahul Gandhi in his yesterday also he said that I've lost my mentor. For the Gandhi family, Dr. Manmohan Singh was that big, that kind of father figure, so to say, and also or someone who they could look after and be comfortable with.
I don't know if I would use the word father figure because, but I'm sure that Rahul Gandhi recognized the contribution that Dr. Manmohan Singh made to the country. Rahul Gandhi also recognized the fact that it was his mother who chose Dr. Manmohan Singh. Look, a lot has been said about tearing of the ordinance. Rahul Gandhi at that time was a petulant child. Fine, that's fair enough. But every human being is allowed to atone for his mistakes. And I think Rahul Gandhi's statement yesterday is much of an atonement. The fact that he said he was my mentor, that I looked up to him, it's gracious. I wouldn't say, oh, now he's changed colors. No. Look, we must allow for grace to be part of our political narrative and our political discourse. And I'm glad that Rahul Gandhi said what he did. Because as Rajagopalan said, the way they treated Narasimha Rao. The way they treated Narasimha Rao was because he was not one of their picks. He was not of their picking. He was not of their choice. And he sought freedom. Dr. Manmohan Singh was more a bureaucrat in his heart than a politician. He did the bidding, but he did it well. And when he wanted to come into his own, like he did with the Indo-US nuclear deal, he showed them that he could be his own man. And I think we need to respect that.
I'll just come back to you, Suhel, to Rajagopalan, Mr. Rajagopalan, and also to Siddhant as we track all those details. And you can see on your screens before we hit a break of the final journey and Congress leaders, the Gandhi family, Rahul Gandhi, of course, accompanying their Prime Minister and our Prime Minister on his last journey to Nigambodh Ghat.